going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is recorded for YouTube, and there's a reason why I'm doing this. Before I continue, though, I'm giving you guys my whole parts list and what I'm using, and even my backup stuff, so bear with me, alright? I'm doing this so you guys could get maybe started on something you guys would like, but the reason why I'm going through this is because this is what I've tailored to in the sense of what I've been most comfortable with entirely, and what I've grown with in terms of parts, and why I stick to them, and why I'm sticking to them, and why you should too. Or you could use this information to make a purchase on something you might want later for your setup. But the reason also that I'm doing this too is because it definitely is helpful to get some knowledge from somebody that's tested a lot and is sticking to certain things, which is why literally everything in my setup right now is literally entirely worked on, because I found that it's better for what I'm trying to do instead of just using it because this is what I started with. Obviously, we all start somewhere, but I'm trying to get you that step ahead so you don't have to just start somewhere. You could start right off the bat with what you're trying to do. So, this is tailored to more of like the obviously people like to stream end game at the same time on their PC, like myself. So, this is tailored to that, but at the same time, it also goes down to mouses, mouse mat, keyboard, whatever. You know, it goes to everything. So, before I continue, though, I just want you guys to know that I do appreciate all the support that I get, and keep an eye on the socials, please, for updates on clips, montages, highlights, whatever. We're going to build this channel up. We're working on it slowly, but it's getting there, and we're definitely taking a new approach. I actually just switched over, which, by the way, I'm going to get to this in a moment too, but I did just switch over to a one monitor setup instead of two now because of performance purposes. With proper testing that I did, I learned that I was losing about 20 to 30 frames out of just having another monitor plugged into the same GPU. So definitely something to keep in mind when you set up your streaming PC, because you will lose performance, and it could also hinder stability in game. But also, during this recording, I just went in and fucking did a whole clean on my PC too. So I did a full-on optimization. Haven't streamed on it yet, but we'll be testing that later today, so keep an eye out on the stream. But I will be uploading this video to YouTube right away once it's done. Today I did pull up a list of all the parts that I have with the backups. So you'll see exactly why I have the backups and what started me there, and then why I'm here now. But we're going to go in reverse order. I believe I could just start with the camera and everything and then move from left to right on the web page, and we'll see how it looks, and maybe you'll enjoy it. We'll see. So let me just switch this over to display capture real quick so you could see everything. The only thing that's going to suck is you're going to see this, which is my broadcasting software. If you're curious about learning what broadcasting software to use, you could definitely use the Streamlabs OBS. I believe it's one of the easiest ones to work with, but obviously it does tailor to a little bit more CPU usage. If you're trying to not use CPU usage too much, you might want to go to Stream Elements. There's different broadcasts out there, broadcasting software. So keep that in mind when you start setting up everything. But anyways, we're going to just close this one down so that way we could continue this. Obviously, I can't see my cam or anything, but we'll start from the very beginning. But you guys should be able to see what's going on my screen now. This is my setup of what I'm using. So as you can see, there's so many tabs up top. We're going to go through each one. This is all in my Amazon Blacksmith, by the way. So if you are deciding to make a purchase on any of these specifically, please click on the Amazon Blacksmith links to my stuff so it can help me out. It does give me a little bit of a commission if you do make a purchase, and it just helps me build as well. So if you do decide, I mean, obviously you could just use this information to help you choose something that you truly want, but this is also good stuff too. If you do want to purchase any of this stuff and you're curious, then it's here for you to try. So right off the bat, Razer Kaio Cam. It does say 1080p, 30 FPS, 720p, 60 FPS. Technically, it is true, but also I found that I have gotten up to 1080p, 50 to 60 frames on fucking camera when it's like in a good lighting. So obviously, right now I don't have a good lighting, but if I open my windows right now and the sun comes in, I could hit those 60 FPS easily, bar none. But since I don't really like to have the sun just like kind of in this room, you know, like I'd rather just have it closed off and have my natural lights in here that, you know, make it look pretty nice, aesthetically pleasing, I leave it closed. So I'm okay with 1080p 30 frames with the lighting, but obviously in time I do want to get that upgraded, and I do have like a special lighting setup in here to where it could like keep that 1080p 60 FPS on cam and make me look pretty smooth while we're gaming and stuff and talking or whatever. So This camera, bar none, I believe is great quality. This thing has dropped so many times just because the way I have it set up. It's not like a stern place to fucking sit, but it's handled fucking drops. It's handled everything. It's got a ring light on it. It does have a built-in microphone. I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't recommend using that, but it does have a built-in camera if you do decide to use it. You could place it. It has a, as you can see, it has a mounting bracket for the uh, set up on your monitor if you want to have like a frontward facing cam, or you could have it set up like how I do in the corner so you could see more of my setup too along with me. Plenty of things I did here with this, but I technically leave the light off. I just don't think the light's necessary for me, and it does give like a blurred background in certain lighting, but again, it does help benefit if you have more better lighting around with testing that I did. But you can't go wrong with the camera. Obviously, it's a little priced high right now. They usually drop pretty low, so I'd keep an eye on it. I found one, not this one, but I found one at Walmart I didn't buy, but I just saw it there and it was like 90 bucks. So keep in mind, there's places you could probably find this camera for cheaper, but Amazon's got it pretty priced up because it's hard to find right now. There you go. Next, we have what is my backup mouse mat. So, which is good because I'm glad I'm going in this order so you can see what I started with and then what I'm going to. Hopefully it goes in order, but I don't know. We'll see. But this is what the mouse mat that I started with. And this is the Razer Goliath, this extended chroma. It does have RGB right here, as you can see, but the RGB is kind of dimming out. It's a little older of a mouse pad. This was what I grew on pretty much. This is what I was learning to play with for the longest time. And it's a good mouse pad. It's a soft resistance, so it does have a little bit of a spongy material into it. So like when you push down on it, it's good for stopping power and control, but it does, like, the glide on it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. The glide on it's really good, but just for the stopping power and stuff, I feel like that could hinder in my performance, which is why I don't use it anymore. So I did decide to go and upgrade myself personally, and I've been tailored to this, and I think the hard mouse mat definitely was the upgrade for me personally. But for this, it was good growing with it and learning to, like, especially if you're a sniper in FPS games, it is definitely good for the stopping power to aim and lock that aim down. As far as the hard pad though, if you get used to a hard pad, you'll probably be better off because this is more muscle. Like, you have to use your muscle to stop, obviously, and be accurate and fine tune. But the hard mouse pad is, I mean, the soft mouse pad is good for, you know, if you're having trouble with that. And honestly, if you're more of a low sensitivity DPI, low DPI, low sensitivity type player, and you need the swiping, this would probably be better for you just because of that. But like, obviously this is a smaller mouse pad, but I'm more of a wrist player with high sense myself. So give or take what your choice is, but I personally think that the Razer Goliath, this is a good purchase. It is a little pricey, but again, it's supposed to be an aesthetically long mouse pad and gives you a little bit of room to play with your low sense. So definitely recommend it. But again, you know, there's probably better mouse pads out there. They give you a little bit more wider approach, so you could like swipe up and down with the low sense. High sense, you know, I handled it, but again, I definitely found the upgrade in going to a hard pad. So speaking of hard pad, this is the hard pad I'm going with now. It's the Firefly Hard V2. And again, since I'm a wrist player mainly, like, I do swipe, but it's mainly like just like this mouse pad is just enough size for it. You know what I mean? Like, if this was a little smaller, then we would have issues, but this is like just enough size. And I've had times where I've like had to you know, straighten it out on my desk a little bit because it does slide every once in a while, but it's not enough to where like when I'm in game, it's like pushing up or anything. So that's good. It's got a good base to hold down, and it says right there, non-slip rubber base. But knowing when I was playing with it, I could definitely feel something was like a little bit moving. At least over time, like my wrist would probably push it up a bit. But it's all about just what you're comfortable with. And again, with the hard mouse pad, it's so nice to feel the butteriness of your fucking mouse feet just glide across it if you get a good mouse. And it just feels really nice to use. I definitely recommend it. If you're a high sense player, I know a lot of people go into gaming. It's not as common to see a high sense player. It's more low sense player on PC, but there is some high sense players that would definitely benefit from this. Definitely something to keep in mind. But my recommendation, if you were to get a mouse pad, would be the hard pad if you learn how to play a high sense a little better. But also, if you don't want something hard and you want something with like a cloth material, then I'd probably go something with like an artisan pad. And artisan pads have more speed but still have just a tiny bit more control. It's just a little bit, it's not as controlling as this mouse pad, the Goliath this. So something to look into. But then again, like I said, Razer products always been treating me well, and I recommend the hard pad for sure. If you learn how to use it, you'll be happy, trust me. And it looks really good. They're aesthetically pleasing. It's bright as hell on your desk with the RGB shining, so it looks really nice. Moving on, we got my backup mouse. Backup keyboard. We got the Razer Black Widow Tournament Edition Chroma V2 TKL, which is 10 keyless. It is the Razer green switches. Right now it says orange and silent, but it's actually the green switches right here. So, love this keyboard. I had my own custom keycaps on it and everything. It's still viable. It's still my backup. Handles everything perfectly, and the wrist rest is actually right here. I have the wrist rest, but I'm using it for my main keyboard now. It doesn't come with one, but I do like the wrist rest so much. It has so much like press in it, and so much like it's like a memory foam. It feels so good. It feels so good. So I didn't want to just stop using it because I'm not using the keyboard. So now I'm using it on this other keyboard of mine, which I'm about to show you in a minute. But the green switches, they're the mechanical 50 million click lifespan switches. They're just the original green Razer switches. They're very similar to like blue switches, cherry blues, but they're probably not as loud. I think the cherry MX blues are louder. I could be wrong though, but from what I've heard, I think the green switches are just a little bit louder. But they're nonetheless really good. They got a 1.5 millimeter actuation force. The RGB on it's beautiful. It's just a really good keyboard. And again, keyboards aren't as important in gaming as you would think, but they also are, for the sense of like sometimes a faster actuation will register movements a little better, and even if just the slightest movement would be a difference in you aiming, then yeah, it does make a little bit of a difference. But again, it's one of the lesser important details, and everyone could go in and be a keyboard enthusiast and likes the sound of the keys and whatnot and how the switches sound and everything, which is nice. But me personally, I don't look into it like that. I look into the build quality of it, and also, I've been testing my newest keyboard because of that reason to see if it's even viably worth having an upgrade or not. And so far, I believe it is, but then again, you got to really look at the difference and see if it's something that is more important to put your money towards or not. So right here, Black Widow Tournament Edition, I recommend it 100%. Great keyboard. The thing is, right now it's $90, and then this is where it gets a little tricky, and this is where I'm going to get to why maybe just spending a little bit more, or maybe even somewhat borderlining with the price of a newer keyboard might be better. So let me show you. This is the Razer Huntsman Mini. As you can see, it's $100 flat. It's not $90, so it doesn't have that $10 difference. But the thing is, this has the fastest keyboard switches ever, according to Razer, which I do believe they're really close up there. I wouldn't say they're 100%, but they are one of the fastest keyboard switches. And it's got the clicky optical switches that I have, which are purple switches. Obviously, purple does fit my aesthetic too, so it's kind of cool. That even made sense. But I got my own, as you can see, I can show you a little bit, but I got my upgraded keycaps on there as well, so it shines more of the RGB through. But this keyboard, bar none, has a nice sound, has a nice feel. The actuation is faster. It is a little bit louder for my viewers to hear when I'm playing games, but it's tend to happen. It's just what happens with mouse and keyboard players. But other than that, it's an amazing, amazing keyboard. It's smaller, compact, and you do lose a lot of the function keys, which is a little bit of the heartening part. But if you work with it, you make it work. You know what I mean? So obviously, I recommend this keyboard wholeheartedly over the 10 keyless, just because it's $10 more for something with better, overall equipment in it. But obviously, it's the factors of losing the function keys and whatnot, or you have to like manipulate them. As you can see, it's hard to really tell, but if you look under like the numbers, you can see where it says F8, F9, F10. So the function keys are there, but you gotta hit a separate key and then hit those to function as the F10, F9 as you're going. So my keyboard is set up to have F1 through F10 all the way up to the top, which is F0 or 0, whatever, but it's also 10. Yeah, so once again, you can work with it, and then the original keycaps come with the separate side function as well. So you can see on the side of the keycap right there, you'll see that there's like the play pause button, and then up, down, left, right arrows and whatnot, so on and so forth. So great keyboard. I recommend it, and it is customizable with keycaps entirely. So this is one keyboard that you could go and be happy with compared to a lot of customizable keyboards that don't have the switches that these do. So my mouse, which I'm not using right now, it's charging, but my mouse that I have as my, technically, it's like a half and half, but it's like my main. is the Razer Basilisk Ultimate. And the reason why I have this as a main is because it's just about the shape. It's not about what's. I mean, obviously the 11 programmable buttons is really good. Obviously the sensor's amazing. Oh, amazing, and the fastest gaming mouse switches are in there too, which is the optical sensors. They are fucking amazing. This mouse is just amazing. It has like the highest quality tech, and on top of that, it's ergo shaped for palm claw hybrid perfectly. So like when you're playing with it, it's nice. It's the same thing as this mouse here, but this mouse is just the wired lighter version. And the reason why I recommend this mouse is because obviously if you're doing it for an aesthetic reason, it's going to pop on your desk, it's going to look really nice, but at the same time, it's just the functionality of it is just amazing, bar none. I technically use the DPI clutch right here, as you can see in the zoom in. It's that little paddle. That's my grenade throwing key, so I use that as a G macro. So I throw grenades with that. They technically people use it as a DPI clutch, which means it'll drop your DPI sensitivity when you're aiming while you're holding it, and you could use that as they call it a sniper button. So if you're sniping at range and you're trying to fine tune that sniper shot, you can hold that down real quick and then use it. It's almost like, think about it like having aim assist in a sense, where like you have like a high sensitivity, and then people use that DPI clutch while they're aiming, and then all of a sudden it slows it down a little bit to help you guide onto it. I don't use it because I feel like naturally you should be able just to whip your thing around fucking fast and be able to whip your mouse and lock onto people. With natural 1 DPI is all you really need. It's just get used to it, get used to fine tuning that little bit of a DPI move, but then again, some people like to have that little bit of help. I personally think it's just more comfortable being my G key, so I could just like as I'm aiming and stuff, I could throw the grenade real quick or whatever instead of reaching over to G with my right finger or my right or left index finger. And yeah, 100 hour battery life is if you don't use the RGB on it. Personally, like it's 100% PTFE smooth feet. Now, the testing I did with this is that the 100% PTFE feet are nice, but I actually have upgraded feet on it just because I feel like it wasn't good enough on that mouse specifically. But this is where it gets a little weird, and I'm gonna have to get to this in a second when I show you the next mouse. But this is technically like I would say like my 50-50 mouse, where like I am playing with this a lot, but at the same time I like to go back to the V2 because the V2 just has a lot more that feels better about it. And we'll get back to the second right now. So the Razer Basilisk V2, here we go. Wired gaming mouse, 92 grams. By the way, the Ultimate was 107 grams, so it is heavier, but this is 92 grams. Obviously, price difference right now is pretty nice. 68 bucks, not bad. And honestly, for all the high quality stuff in it, you can't go wrong. It's definitely one of the best feeling mice out there with the fucking the shape and the weight. I don't think there is an ergo mouse that looks like this out there that you won't be spending less than $100 for, that has the light or a lighter weight to it with all the programmable buttons and everything. The only thing this doesn't have is the RGB on the sides, as you can see in this picture. There is no RGB on the sides, and that's pretty much it. It's the same tech as the Ultimate and everything, but it's wired. So again, with the high sense that I play at, you know, I would say this is perfect. You don't need anything more than this. But if you're a low sense, you might want to find something a little lighter weight. But at the same time, you could still get by with this, bar none, if you put it on a hard mouse pad or put it on something with like more speed. So that would be like you could just wipe still. This is perfect, bar none. It feels light in the hands and everything. And the most important thing about this mouse, though, is actually the feet. So you can't see it in there, but the feet are like, it's almost like bars of soap. It looks so thick and it just fucking glides like a king. And me like just moving my mouse around, just like moving it around and just swiping and stuff, it just feels like it's like instantaneous, feels so buttery smooth. I love it. So definitely, like, even after one of these mice goes or whatever, I'm upgrading right back to another Basilisk V2. If they come out with a Basilisk V3 by the time that happens, hopefully they do, then I'll be picking up the Basilisk V3. It should be lighter, and that would be like the end game mouse. I 100% think that's the end game mouse. Again, personal preference, but I like the ergo mice because it just feels like it's more fitting to my hand, and I just feel like more control with it, and it just feels better. Every time I've tested mice, it's always going back to something like this, and it's always been just what my go-to is, no matter how lightweight it is. I think this is the route. It's all about shape. Lightweight, yes, it does make a little bit of a difference, but it's more about the shape than the lightweight. You can't be comfortable and accurate with something you're not fucking, like, it doesn't fit like a glove, you know what I mean? So 100% recommend the Basilisk V2. Razer Kraken Ultimate. This is my main, or was my main headset for a while, and I grew with this headset through a lot of my clips and content. That I had my best games with this headset, bar none. It's an amazing headset. The audio quality is great. I know people try to complain about the audio quality, but they just don't know how to set up the THX spatial properly. And when you do, you'll understand. It's really good. It's honestly the best spatial surround sound you could find. Oops, what did I do? I went back. Oh, there we go. I just went down. It's a fast scroll. It is the best spatial surround sound you could find in a headset, bar none. As if you could work the THX spatial properly into your computer, it's amazing. As far as using it for a console, it does have a sound card, I believe. Or no, not this one. You need to buy a sound card separately, but you could buy a sound card, which will save the profile, which will also help. But again, console, you're going to get lower quality anyways. But if you're getting a PC, this headset, the RGB is amazing on the sides. It looks nice. The audio is what's really amazing on this headset. But the reason why I'm not maining this headset anymore is because the one I'm wearing right now is actually better, and I'll explain in a second. But obviously, this headset you can't go wrong. And if you find it for a better price than $91 or even $91 compared to what I have right now, then yeah, this is definitely the go-to route. And they also have the green color. I personally don't like the green color because then that's like, I think that's just a regular Razer Kraken tournament edition, and it doesn't have the RGB, so aesthetically pleasing. It's nice, but it's not this. Popping green headset, or you get an all black stealthy headset with the RGB shining on the sides, and you can make it do all kinds of customizable RGB. It's really nice. The only thing I have a knock on this headset for entirely is the mic, because the mic is good, but it's not great. And I know there's mics out there that you could better handle and enjoy, but this is just something for like maybe in-game mic. It's okay, but as far as it goes. Now, Razer Black Shark V2. You pretty much got everything, which by the way is cheaper, which is crazy. You got everything you want in a gaming headset right here. And it's actually the top tier of everything in a gaming headset. There is not a better gaming headset you could buy for this price right now. And I will 100% back that up entirely right now. So it has the spatial surround sound. If you know how to set it up, amazing. 50 millimeter drivers. The bigger the better, sounds better, more full. Detachable mic. Mic quality is good, as you can hear. It's actually really good enough for me that I don't even want to buy a mic. I have my streaming all through my own mic right here. Plus, I like it to get close when I'm talking shit to people, so I could be a dick. Just makes it easy, simplistic, and fun. It's a really nice headset. The quality of the mic is built properly. It has like the cable going into the dongle or whatever inside the headset is built well. It's got a sound card, as you can kind of see right here that I'm holding. It's the sound card right here that you could save the profiles onto, but I don't utilize that. I use all my settings through THX Spatial software. If you can look at the bottom right, it says right there THX Spatial Audio. You got to have that set properly in Razer Synapse and on your computer in order to utilize how good the audio quality is. Hold on one second. Hey, what are you working at? Really? Jesus. Wrong time to be barking, dude. Way to ruin a video. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's my puppy. He's just checking things out. Yeah, THX Spatial, bar none, is going to give you the best audio quality you could possibly look for. Again, it says PS4, PS5 switch. You can use it for everything, but the quality will just drop because it's just not fully optimized. The best for consoles, but it will be for PC. It's got the Triforce titanium drivers build quality, which gives you even crisper audio, as you can see right here. That's hard. Jesus Christ, hyper clear cardioid mic. There we go. Razer Triforce titanium 50mm drivers for high-end audio performance. This is as close to get as you can get with fucking audiophile headsets, but they're not audiophile. This is not going to be the quality of audiophile, but it will be the top tier of gaming headsets. I promise you that. And again, it's been touted by a lot of tech reviewers as the headset of 2020 to get, especially for the price. You cannot beat it. And the build quality is nice. It's lightweight, looks good. Feels good, everything about it. The ear cushions are memory foam, so it's super comfort. Yeah, it's just, it even says for premium comfort. It is premium comfort. It's really nice. Your ears don't get sweaty in this. I've never had any, and they're breathable, so you do get airflow. It's kind of weird, but they are breathable. But you don't get ear sweat or nothing with this headset. And I recommend this headset wholeheartedly. Definitely my favorite purchase for a while. It hasn't been, anything hindering on me, so I love it. And I even think about getting the wireless version later on. Maybe when the price drops, it would be really nice to have a wireless version, just because of this cable keeps getting in the way at times. But you don't need it, honestly. Wired is still technically king in terms of like connectivity and latency and all that, so keep that in mind as well. Definitely one of the best purchases you can make with a headset if you're ever looking for one. Now, this is my old monitor. This is what I grew on quite a bit through my career of streaming. This is the AOC CQ27G1 27-inch curved frameless gaming. It is a 2K monitor, which means it's 1440p resolution at 1 millisecond response time. Can't beat that. That's really good right off the bat. 144 hertz with FreeSync. I don't believe it's G-Sync compatible, so if you have a G-Sync-esque monitor, I'm sure you can still work with it, but it's not going to be FreeSync. I think this is more tailored to the AMD side, but again, it's still probably good. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you run G-Sync on it, it should still, you know, it won't be like the best of best, but it will be still really good. Display port, height adjustable, 3 years, 0 bright dot. It's really nice. It's a nice monitor. You can't go wrong with it. And you can see right now they're charging $480. There's only one left in stock, and it's used, by the way. You can't find this monitor anymore, which, by the way, I am selling mine that's still in good condition for $200. So if you find that and you want that, let me know, because that monitor is really good for 1440p 144 hertz display gaming. However, competitively, once again, unless you have the high quality equipment, whatever, but I wouldn't tailor to it, and I would probably go with something that I have, which is right here. So as you can see, this is even lower in price, but this has got way better specs entirely. So it's kind of crazy. So the Asus TUF VG279QM 27-inch HDR monitor, 1080p, which you do drop resolution, but trust me, hear me out. Fast IPS, better colors, which by the way, the other one was a VA panel, so it has less color performance, or it's worse in color performance compared to this monitor. 280 hertz display, 280 hertz refresh rate, which is really nice. This is G-Sync compatible, but also FreeSync compatible, so proven with that. Extreme low motion blur sync, which you won't find in a lot of monitors nowadays at this high of a refresh rate. I don't think this is like newer tech anyway, so you don't really see this in majority of monitors you buy. 1 millisecond response time and display HDR 400 for $390. I got mine for 4 something, so it's a little bit cheaper now than it was when I got it. Definitely one of my favorite purchases for a while too. On top of that, the colors is just amazing, and then the ELMB sync on and off literally takes away the blurs in certain spots, like it's showing right there. Like if you're looking left to right, it's supposed to eliminate that. So what it does is sends a bunch of black bars really fast that you can't see, but if you like put a camera up to it, like with your phone camera or something, you could see it doing what it's the ELMB sync. You'll see it actually acting out. So you can't like record a video and hold it onto your camera, because you'll start seeing the ELMB in action where it's like brrr, it's crazy. So HDR on, looks good. I'm telling you, colors on this thing pop. It's one of the best looking monitors I've ever had. And again, I always go back to, everyone goes, oh, what about the resolution? Resolution don't mean anything when I'm looking at it like this. Like I think this looks better than the 1440p monitor, in my opinion. And the 1440p monitor is $100 more. I guess just because what's going on is the demand for 1440p is getting higher with the newer tech of GPUs and CPUs that have coming out that can run 1440p at 240 hertz. So people are trying to find, you know, the 144 hertz, the middle ground, and then they're trying to buy them out. So that's why my monitor for used is going for $470. I'm gonna sell it for $200 to be fair to the general public. So, but this monitor, if you're looking for competitive gaming, bar none, don't even think about it. 280 hertz, you can't complain, and you're future proofing your setup. So if your computer can hit up to 280 hertz on certain games, like say Rainbow Six Siege or Counter Strike or Valorant, then you're already above the game for a majority of people that are playing it, which is stuck at 240 hertz. Some very, very rich people will be playing at 360 hertz, but you very rarely see that because that's still new tech. So 280 hertz, you're already above the game, and it's amazing. It's one of my favorite purchases, and I can't wait to actually put this more to use because I'm enjoying it. And my dog can't stop barking at the worst times. Intel 660p series, 1 terabyte. Mine's not 1 terabyte. They don't have 1 terabyte on Amazon. I don't know why. It's weird. But I have the SSD 660p, 512 gigabytes. NVMe M.2 SSD, which is where my operating system and everything runs. It looks exactly like this in my setup, but obviously I have like a little sticker covering it, which I should probably take that off because I think it's just like a safety sticker or something. It tells me what it is though, so it has the specs on it and everything. But anyways, It's a really good NVMe SSD. It's not the most stylish looking one, but it definitely is nice. Looks good sitting there. Um, you know, it's a great storage device. It reads and writes fast. I only run like Warzone on this as a saved game, and everything else is on my other drive. And the reason I do that is because I want to, you know, optimize all my software and everything to run quick and run well on this drive, while and Call of Duty Warzone because it's my main game, and then everything else goes to my D drive, which I'll get to right now. So the Samsung 860 EVO, 512 gigs, which says 500 gigs, but it's 512 gigs. They call it internal SSD. It's a SATA. It's a good storage device, and it is external where it pops out, but inside I just shoved it in there. It's, you know, it's my backup drive. It has all my other miscellaneous games. It loads fast, runs fast. Everything's good. It's great. It's a great SSD, and I haven't had any complaints with them. And I guess Samsung's one of the top quality to get for SSDs and stuff like that. So Samsung's just good quality, anyways. Definitely recommend buying this. It's on the cheaper end too. I believe this one is $75. I got mine for like probably not even that. I think it was cheaper that I got it for, but you could just, you know, get maybe even a 2 terabyte for $210. 2 terabytes of SSD storage. Can't go wrong. It's amazing. Good time to be buying storage right now because you can find some good prices on them. Keep an eye out. My RAM, G-Skill Trident Z Neo. It's all, and again, as you can see, it's for AMD Ryzen, so that means it's tailored to my CPU for better performance. 3600 megahertz, so it's one of the higher end. It's not 3200. 3200 is kind of like the low, like that's where you start. But I would recommend just bump it up a little bit. $220 is kind of on the steep end for 32 gigs, but at the same time, it's for the quality and for the RGB and everything about it. Everything about this entirely is fucking perfect. It helps with the processing of your memory and everything really fast. Looks really good. Again, that's just the aesthetically side of it, but it did improve performance quite a bit. Jesus Christ. The timing of this dog. Come on. Knock it off. Be a good boy. So, I definitely recommend this RAM if you have an AMD Ryzen CPU, and it will definitely make a difference. It made me about a 20 to almost 30 frame difference just from switching to this, clearly without even putting any upgrades to the RAM or anything, which I'm going to go and overclock all this stuff later on, but obviously my GPU is the only thing that's overclocked right now. CPU and RAM will come next. So the motherboard that runs it all, Asus TUF X570 plus Wi-Fi. It's AM4 Zen 3 Ryzen, 3rd gen Ryzen ATX motherboard with PCIe 4.0 dual M.2. So that means I can run dual M.2 SSD storage on here. I have not done that yet, but that is my next step in my upgrades. I will be running a dual M.2 for adding an extra 500 gigs or maybe another 1 terabyte for storage, and just run all my competitive games on that storage, and then everything else will be a backup game. But it's really good motherboard. Again, can't go wrong. It has Wi-Fi compatibility. I would show you the little dongle I have up here, but I don't have it plugged in right now. I'm running it hardline, so I don't use the Wi-Fi, but a lot of people do use Wi-Fi, so keep that in mind. It's a really good motherboard, and again, it's future-proofed, so if you're getting the Zen 4 architecture of AMD Ryzen CPUs, perfect for that. And again, PCIe 4.0. You're already ready for the next GPUs too. So, my GPU, speaking of GPU, this is the MSI Gaming Radeon RX 5700 XT, which is the MSI Mech OC. I don't know why they don't specify Mech OC. Right here it is, Mech OC. Currently unavailable. And again, people are buying out GPUs because of the mining issue that we have going on, unfortunately. But normally this runs like probably like $400. This is really good. Boost clock, it says 1925 megahertz. I could get it up to 2059 megahertz on a standard overclock, which is just safe. I guess you call it a safe overclock. It's a really good GPU, but again, there's definitely better 5700 XTs out there if you could find one. But for the price, this probably will drop once everything starts normalizing again, and it would definitely be a recommended purchase if you're trying to save a little bit of money outside of everything, because you could still run 1080p gaming competitively at high frame rates. So definitely recommend it. But again, there is better options out there, but if you're willing to spend the extra $100-something maybe for it, then that's personal preference. So, and last but not least, my newest purchase, which definitely tailors to how I'm playing, is the AMD Ryzen 7 3700X, which is 8-core, 16-thread unlocked processor. Comes with a Wraith Prism LED cooler. Not using it. I have my own AIO cooler, which I'm gonna get to all that in a second. But this CPU is definitely so far been a good boost in performance. Not by much, because I had a Ryzen 5 3600 before, so it's not that big a difference. But the real difference lies in the clarity of me playing games while streaming, and that's because it's separating 2 more cores of CPU usage elsewhere. So that means it gives my gaming performance a little better while streaming, and that's the main reason behind the purchase. It is $329 on Amazon. I got mine for $300 flat. Definitely, and I also paid for what do you call it, insurance on it, because I am going to overclock it, and I do want to see how high I could get this boosted. It says CPU speed 4.4 gigahertz. I'm sitting at like, I think 4.05 right now at a standard, but before I was at a 3.95, so I'm literally like at a 0.10 gigahertz faster. So I'm definitely getting performance boost just from stock already, but I definitely do want to go in and overclock it, so that way I could get the best performance possible out of this thing and get it really like popping well. So definitely CPU wise, I recommend it. And again, it's like the perfect middle ground if you're going to be streaming and gaming. It takes about the same amount of power as the Ryzen 5 3600, so it's really good. And again, it boosts for overclocking, for 3200 megahertz memory. But again, that's 3200 megahertz. We got 3600, so that's why it's like I definitely want to see what I could do with the CPU. It might be really, really nice for performance boosts, and on top of that for streaming. So can't wait to figure out how to learn that and get into that. But so far, I'm excited. And again, it's for the advanced socket AM4 platform on X570 motherboards. So 100%, I'm already. This is as future proofed as it could get. The only thing I need to worry about later on, it would probably be my GPU to get a better upgrade on that, and that's about it. Maybe like a fan system up top just to get more air pushing out. That could be nice to have more airflow, but that's as far as I go with this setup. And this is why it's my 2021 setup, and this is why I'm making this video entirely, so you guys can get an idea of what I'm rocking for the rest of this year. And then on top of that, maybe you guys make a purchase on you setting up your start for this year. So 37 minutes, not bad. But before I finish, I also got to talk about this PC right here. So as you can see, these cables right here, this is all stuff you can't buy online. This is all custom ordered through iBuyPower, which is the company that's pretty much pre-custom built this PC. This is all built. I built this like part for parts on their website, and they got the deals hooked up. Boom, they put it together, and I just brought it home. But yeah, we got the iBuyPower radiator with the AIO cooler, the 3 custom fans, obviously, and then the case itself is called Slate. You can't find this custom case anymore, not even in pre-built in stores. This is it. This is probably like one of the only ones you'll find ever again, which is rare, makes it rare. So I'm keeping the case for a while. I like it, but it has decent airflow. It has gotten hot at times, but I felt like it was getting hot mainly playing at 1440p resolution gaming because of the GPU burning up. AMD GPUs do get hot, so that was probably the reason why. Other than that, it runs cool. I mean, my CPU temps are always cool. My motherboard temps are always cool. Everything's been really just nice and cool except for the GPU, and that's just because the GPU, it does get the case like a little warm at times when I'm playing certain games like Warzone. And that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, Battlefield kind of warmed it up a little bit, but not as near as much. Warzone is just poorly done game, so it's poorly optimized. It makes the GPU run like a fucking bat out of hell. So, other than that, I recommend all this stuff entirely. The PSU. Oh, by the way, the power supply unit. I should have brought that up too. Power supply unit is a special edition power supply unit. I forget the brand name, but it's an 80 plus gold watt, 600 or 80 plus gold, 650 watt power supply unit. So 650 watts, kind of like, yeah, it's good for the setup. We're pretty comfortable, but you might want to go to like 750 or 800 watt if you're going to get a higher GPU, or higher anything else that you upgrade in there. That's when you want to bump it up just a little bit. But for this setup, it's perfect. We did the measurements on how much wattage I'm pulling out of this thing, and it's not even like 300. I think it's like 350, 400 at the most, but I still got like 150, 200 watts of playtime. So perfect. Can't go wrong. We're happy with it. It's good. If you're talking about gaming chair, I know everyone talks about gaming chair. What chair you're using? This is a Serta, like it's almost like an $800 just computer chair entirely. So this is more for comfort. And I've been hearing complaints about people using uh, gaming chairs with the uncomfortability of all that. And, you know, it's terrible. If you guys are curious about the lighting on the floor, obviously I have RGB strips with also that tailors to the ceiling light. So as you can see, I can switch the colors with just a remote. And yeah, I like it, but I have RGB set up everywhere, even around my window right here. I would show you guys that, but I can't. It's a RGB strip that goes all the way around and it changes colors. It has a diffuser around it, so it just matches the colors and everything. So I have that going on constantly. You can see that I have lots of fucking RGB going on. I love RGB. It's just my thing. Always have, always will. I know people hate on it, but I just personally love it. I think aesthetically, it's just aesthetically pleasing for me to look at every day. I can leave my computer on, lay down, and just play on my phone or whatever. Look at my computer and be like happy. You know what I mean? So this is technically my dream setup. I actually do think this is my dream setup, and then definitely after making these purchases, you always want to find something else to maybe put into your setup and make it something special and keep it going. You know what I mean? But obviously, like this is 2021 right here. The only thing that you might see added is something along this wall. That's about it. I have my stickers, you know, that I just got made. That's my first merch product, which, by the way, look out for that. Other than that, everything's pretty much done. We're set. Obviously, I have this JBL speaker too that turns on. It's got the RGB all around the glass, but we're not going to turn it on right now. But definitely a nice speaker too to have. You'll see that shining right here along the glass and stuff too. It just looks really nice. You'll see a lot of colors popping on my stream. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it for 2021. And again, the reason why all these purchases went from backups to now is because I've learned by using my backups, or currently that were my backups, were my mains before. Those backup parts and peripherals all had reasons why I stopped using them to move up to this to specifically improve what I'm doing here, which is streaming and gaming at the same time. So once again, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you guys could please thumb up on all the videos that you guys watch, and if you do, appreciate it. If you don't, dislike it, it's fine. Subscribe to the channel, please. I do appreciate all the support. Again, follow the socials, follow everything, and I'll be live at Twitch shortly after this, so hope you guys do well, and take it easy. Enjoy your guys' day.